After 12 years, after helping thousands of high achieving women, when a woman comes to me to fix the intimacy and connection problem in her relationship, and I hear the words, he's a really good guy, he's a really great dad, it's a red flag for me. It's an orange flag for me. That one sentence, that one belief keeps more high achieving women with super traits stuck in sexless marriages, self abandoning themselves than anything I've ever seen. Because what's happening behind the scenes? Our bodies know better. Our pussies know better. They know what we can't name yet. So if I'm hearing he's such a great guy, he's such a great dad, he's such a great husband, and there is no intimacy and connection, the math ain't mathin', Superwoman. So this episode you're going to need to listen to probably 2 to 3 times in order to pull all of the nuggets from it that you need in order to get through that patriarchal conditioning, that Superwoman conditioning. Because in that dynamic, it's not safe. There's no connection. And you are probably with some element of a good guy gaslighter. And if you're with one, you probably don't know it yet. He might not even know it yet because just this is the way that men are allowed to exist and show up. But if you're the one putting in the work to fix your relationship, asking and not having your needs met, you're doing the therapy, you're listening to me, you're sending him podcasts, you're saving Instagram posts and sending them to him, and you are still not met. You still don't feel seen. You still don't feel connected. You still don't feel fucked the way that you desire to be. Listen up. Listen 3 times. Welcome to the Pleasure Principles podcast. This is a podcast for high achieving women ready to decode the disconnection, low libido, sexless relationships that they are having, especially the hidden power dynamics draining their desire. Nothing will drain desire faster than a good guy gaslighter, and that is what we are going to talk about today. I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins. I am your host, naturopathic doctor, author of The Pink Canary, an intimacy strategist for women who have it all except great sex. Who is the good guy gaslighter? He brings you coffee. He folds the laundry. He takes the kids to sports. He's changed more diapers than his father ever did. But he is not there for your needs. You feel confused. You think, why is this so hard? Why can't I just be happy? Because you might be with a good guy gaslighter. He listens, but he doesn't hear you. He needs 20 reminders. Or he does things for a time and then they seem to slide back. He definitely does not touch or fuck you the way that you crave to be. He doesn't meet you at the emotional depth that you so deeply crave. But hey, there's lots of good parts, so you shove the fact that he's not meeting your needs down deep. You tell yourself that you're too much, that you should stop complaining, that you should just be grateful. He may follow relationship coaches on Instagram. He goes to therapy, maybe reluctantly because you've begged, cried, withdrawn, written letters, done all the things. He says he loves you. He probably does, but you still feel like you're the one managing his emotional weather. You're the one softening, over-explaining, circling back. You're the one letting go, giving him chances, giving him time, space to heal because he's tired or had a long day or has a lot on his plate or he doesn't have the capacity that you do. But you know who the fuck is tired? The women that I work with. And they are so tired that they have had to convince themselves and override their physiologic signals, which damages them hormonally, emotionally, physically, because somebody has to do it. Somebody has to keep the humans alive or food on the table. And it's usually my client in a Superwoman relationship. You're the one adjusting everything to keep the peace. That is why you have super traits. That is why you are so successful in your career and not so much when it comes to sex and intimacy. So when you bring up your feelings to a good guy gaslighter, he's going to say things like, "That's not what I meant. I never said that. Your tone." Yeah, that's tone policing. It's another thing that drives me up as soon as I hear about it. The fastest way to shut down connection and desire is to police a woman's tone. Okay, and that's a DARVO technique: deny, attack, reverse victim, offender. So if you go, this is a little rant here. If you go to your partner with you're hurt about something, you're disappointed about their action or inaction, and they're bringing up your tone, they're invalidating you, they're minimizing, they're denying your problem, and they're reversing it. They're making you the problem because of the way that you asked instead of actually dealing with the issue at hand. So this is good guy gaslighter 101, and it's societally acceptable that, and then we feel like the problem, like, oh no, I've asked, I wasn't polite enough with my ask. And then I work with women to manage their tone or send it in a text, and it's not because they are the problem, but when we regulate their nervous system and they see these things for what they are, which is a man's desire to maintain control and inability to face their own shame. Anyways, when they see it for what it is and they can ask or be direct, and it is simple, it's direct. This is like a laser. This is a laser focus. It is surgical precision to cut through any and all bullshit. Then they just pull out another DARVO tactic. So it was never about your tone. It was about them not being held accountable for their actions. And then they still want access to your body. Okay, so when you bring up your feelings, you'll hear, "That's not what I meant. I never said that." They'll comment on your tone. They'll say, "Wow, like you're being really reactive right now," or "too much." Or they'll say, "I'm trying. What more do you want from me?" These are all good guy gaslighter tactics. And you'll hear a variation of them. And I hope you are angry enough to want to start a riot. That is not what I am suggesting, but we need to be in touch with our healthy anger about these things. And we need healthy outlets for our anger and therapy. So he's not yelling. He's not overtly abusive. Maybe he's hitting things around him, or maybe he's disconnecting from you for days, which is a form. Those are signs of abuse, or that abuse could escalate, because many superwomen are in emotionally abusive or toxic relationships and they do not know it because they're a little neurodiverse like me. Our super traits have us thinking that we're the problem and we can fix it. If I can just do this one thing or learn this one thing, I'm going to crack the code and fix it, because that's how the rest of the world responds to me. But no, not a good guy gaslighter. So as our default, as well-meaning, big-hearted, open, tolerant, receptive women, our default is to look for the good things, to look at all the great things you built or the years you've been together, but you're walking on eggshells. You're craving touch that you're not getting. You're craving connection that you're not getting, and it hurts. It's actually killing you slowly. This is research proven. It hurts and you try and distract yourself. It hurts and you try and minimize it. Because when every conversation becomes about your tone, on how you brought it up, when you brought it up, on what his intentions were, you start to wonder, am I the problem? Am I asking for too much? Why can't I just be grateful? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I want sex or be happy with the frequency or the lack of frequency that he wants it? Our super traits, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can head to the show notes and take the pleasure path assessment and find out what your super traits are. They keep us stuck in perpetual loops. So a good guy gaslighter, he says he cares about your feelings. your well being. He says he wants to help, but as soon as your feelings conflict with what he wants, he's suddenly withdrawn. He's suddenly dismissing. He might say things like, "You're making this a bigger deal than it is." That's minimizing right after you've revealed something vulnerable. Okay. And this is a sign to our nervous systems we are not safe. And we don't want to open to a man that isn't making us feel emotionally safe because yin energy, feminine energy travels downward, head, heart, womb, pelvic floor. A good guy gaslighter, maybe he does nice things, but they're laced with expectation. Okay. He did the dishes and then he expects sex. He booked a seafood restaurant, but he forgot you're allergic to seafood or you don't like it. And then when he says something, he flips it. He's hurt, like you ruined the night. Or an example is buying a gift that you don't like or is completely not in your taste. Or heard this one the other day, booking a day trip for her birthday somewhere she really wanted to go. But by the time they got there, the place was closed. And then when she was disappointed that it closed, it became about her being upset and disappointed, rightfully so, and not about him doing a shit job of planning the day. There was a lack of planning and a lack of foresight. And the answer should be apology and making it up to her. It shouldn't be about her and her tone and her emotion and her being too much. So, super women with super traits do not see this. We are the most vulnerable to this game being run on us. Okay. This game of power and control that we have been taught to not see. We have been taught to outwork it with our super traits. But let's be clear, you're smart, you're capable, you're driven, you're compassionate. You can get shit done. We want you on our team. You are a woman with super traits: loyalty, hard work, grit, empathy, tolerance. Sandra Brown came up with the concept of super traits. I've said that, I keep saying it, but I didn't make this up. This is well researched, okay? But these very traits are the reason you're stuck in these loops. It's the reason why intimacy and connection has gone to shit in your relationship and you're so confused. Intimate relationships are hard for women with super traits. It's why you used to be fun. You used to be playful. You used to laugh. You used to dance in the kitchen, and you don't anymore. Because when the relationship starts to feel off, you don't blame him. You say he's a good guy. You blame yourself. You work harder. You read more. You listen to more. You try to fix. So our energy immediately goes out instead of doing what it should do, which is go in. You think, if I just communicate better, maybe I am being too emotional. Maybe I am asking for too much. Look at this life we've built. I should just be happy. He means well. He's just overwhelmed. He means well. He has ADHD. He's a good guy. He has childhood trauma. Fuck off. We all do. And I would argue even super women might have the most childhood trauma, and a lot of them are unaware of it. But the reason why you're with a man that won't meet your needs is probably because on some level this is familiar for you from childhood. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about a good guy gaslighter. He keeps showing up just enough to keep you hopeful. He says the right words, but nothing changes long term. The actions don't change over time. And you are left confused, depleted. You're disconnected. You're snapping at your kids. You probably need hormone replacement. And I'm not against hormone replacement. I absolutely love it. Have been prescribing it to women for for a decade. But just if we were rested and relaxed and present and our nervous systems were regulated, we would need a lot less antidepressants and hormone replacement. I'm digressing. So he is giving you crumbs. He is showing up at a 2 out of 10. And honey, you are a 10 out of 10. That is how much effort you are putting into the relationship. So the power dynamic is off. Again, an example. A client said to me the other day, he keeps telling me I'm amazing. and praising me for how much I do. But I'm doing it all, managing the kids, the house, our relationship, his moods. And somehow I'm the one being called too much, too sensitive whenever I have a need, but I'm carrying it all. And I'm being praised for carrying it all, but he's just like over there not showing up. Another conversation in Pleasure Principles group coaching chat is the backhanded comments like, well, you're the one, you're the expert, you're the expert in emotion, and then denying he meant anything by what he said. So we're like he's avoiding accountability. So when you react, you're too sensitive. When you ask for closeness, he's too tired, busy, too drunk. But later or in public, he's telling everyone he adores you, how amazing you are, how much you do, how much he's in awe of you. So, do you see how it's not adding up? So, this is covert control. And until you understand power dynamics, you're going to lose. You're playing a game, you've signed a contract that you don't even know what it says. And this is the new face of power and control. It's not screaming and hitting, it's sighing, it's detaching, it's doing things and expecting something in return. And like women can do this and women can use these tactics too. I'm speaking about the patterns that I have seen over the last 12 years with thousands of women that I work with. So this is showing up by calmly convincing you that your needs are too much, by blaming miscommunication when he doesn't follow through, by turning every conversation into how his feelings are hurt or about his effort or the one time 10 years ago that you did something like really egregious and he seems to bring it up every time you have an ask. Saying like he's doing his best while you have burnt yourself out or made yourself sick carrying the weight of the rest. So he's never, and this is why it's so insidious and that we're not seeing it, why therapists miss it, why you're missing it, because it's not overt abuse. He's not hitting you, but he's making hits on your own self-worth. He's making you question yourself. He's making you question your version of reality. He's making you question your worth to receive your needs until eventually you stop asking. You shrink your ask. You disconnect. You get quiet. You desperately seek connection with him, maybe through sex, or you're completely shut down and you tell yourself, but I should be grateful. He's a good guy. He takes the kids to their sports. He's a good dad. When you bring up how lonely you feel, how much you seek connection, he looks confused or annoyed. He'll put it back on you. Well, what do you want from me? Or I did this for you last week. And you leave the conversation feeling guilty for asking for, desiring connection. Or maybe he begrudgingly does what you ask him to do, but it feels hollow, like he's doing it to get it over with. And this could be in sex, like in the bedroom or out of the bedroom, or he makes you pay for it in other ways. It's like, so he does this one thing that you ask, but drops the ball on something else. And I know you've lived this. So, what we are experiencing is not just a libido mismatch, mismatched desires. It is not that you need to be more in your feminine energy. It is not that you need to balance your hormones. It is that he is not meeting your needs. It is that there is a level of emotional manipulation, emotional toxicity, or emotional abuse in some of the worst cases. Because sometimes when you learn to regulate your nervous system and you learn to make these direct asks and you've done the Pleasure Principles group coaching program, you know how to do this. You know how to kind of weather the storm and point these things out to not be gaslit by a good guy gaslighter. A lot of times, they might kick and scream or throw their little temper tantrum, but most of the time men are like, oh shit. And they will change their behavior. But you need to see the invisible power dynamic, the covert good guy gaslighting. If you feel like the problem, it's probably not you. And just because he isn't cruel doesn't mean he's safe to your nervous system. Your body knows, your pussy knows, your pleasure knows, your desire knows. If your sex drive has disappeared or you're desperately seeking the connection with him in sex, but you're not getting it anywhere else, this is not because you're broken. It's because you've been playing a game. You've been having game run on you that you haven't seen, that you couldn't identify. We're using his niceness, the guilt trips, his subtle hints to get you to comply and keep doing all the work, and where your needs are still not met at the end of the day. So you do not need more tools. You don't need to lower your expectations. You don't need to be less emotional. You don't need to ask in the right tone. What you need is the pleasure path. You need a map. You need, number one, nervous system safety. Number two, emotional equity. This is what a pleasure-centered relationship is. A relationship where you can bring your full self. And this doesn't mean that he has to meet your every need. And you have to have the emotional and nervous system regulation to weather that storm. That's our work to do. But you need to stop performing intimacy. You need to be able to receive pleasure, to ask for your needs to be met. But first and foremost, you need the language to name what's happening. You need to be able to see these dynamics for what they are. And they're well ingrained, and your partner might not even know they're doing them. It's just society. So if this is you, if you are recognizing what I'm saying, if a part of you feels cracked open and another part feels terrified and angry, head to the show notes and start with the pleasure path assessment. It's a tool I created for women who are asking the questions. Why can't I just be happy? He's such a great guy. Why do I feel so alone in this relationship? What's wrong with me? Well, you're going to learn where you are in the pleasure path, what your super traits are that are keeping you stuck, your erotic shutdown style, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. You're going to figure it out, and what you need to shift to reclaim your pleasure without abandoning yourself in a way that feels authentic. Take the pleasure path assessment now. Head to the show notes. And if you need to jump in fully, if you cannot wait, there's 2 spots opening for my fall private coaching, where you get me hands-on, laser-focused, surgical precision. We are going to change this dance that you have been doing, okay, into one that is pleasure-centered and one that feels good for both of you. Head to the show notes, fill out an application. We can hop on a call and make sure that this is the right fit. Stop wasting money on things that aren't going to work. Learn the truth. Learn to control what you can fix. And that is you. That's your side of the street. And watch how that has ripple effects with how you show up in the bedroom, in your relationship, with your kids, with your teams. And for the love of all things holy, at the very least, learn these patterns so you can stop wasting your time, money, energy, health on trying to fix things that aren't yours to fix. You don't need more proof that something's off. You know, your body knows, right? Not in our heads. In our heads, we're going to make the, but he's a good guy excuse. No, in your bones, in your pussy, in the way your body shuts down, in the way you've been numbing with work, numbing with alcohol. Because truthfully, being at work feels better. My clients kind of crave Mondays. If he is such a good guy, why do you feel so alone? Why do you feel so sexually disconnected? You do not have to keep performing connection while starving for it. This is your moment to take action. Start returning to safety, to sensuality, to self-trust. At the very least, take the pleasure path assessment. Head to the show notes. Your pleasure was never the problem. You were never the problem. Trust your pussy.